Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is one of our Robo Live interviews. We have a little bit of a different guest this week. Normally we're doing customers that are actually using our product, but this week we have a special guest, which I'll introduce in a second. What I want to do is, first off, do some housekeeping. If you guys have any comments, go ahead and, well, first off, press like, hopefully, and type the comments below. I can actually ask our guest live on the interview, or we'll reach out to him after and we'll get some of the answers asked or answered at that point, and then I'll post them on the actual comment section. So without further ado, I am going to introduce our guest today. His name is Mitch Debora. He is the co-founder and CEO of Mosaic Manufacturing, a company that makes the multicolor, multi-material device that's shaking up the 3D printing industry. It's called the Palette Plus. I've been using it a lot. I did a post on it this week, a blog, all sorts of stuff. They're based out of Canada. They started the business back in 2014. So let me bring him into the live interview here. Mitch, how's it going, my man?
Hey, Braden, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the live. I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know the time difference is quite a bit out there in Canada, so thank you for doing this. First thing I always ask all my guests is, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I studied materials engineering about 4 years ago before Mosaic was started. So
okay.
Still call myself a recent grad. One of my favorite things to do is water ski. Throw that
nice.
out there. I grew up in Toronto. I've basically been in Canada most of my life, although I do enjoy traveling a lot. And as you could imagine, being a founder of a company, the past 4 years I've spent meeting a ton of amazing people and working with some great people, building up Mosaic.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so just so you know, before we even get started, I was at the Midwest Rep Rap Festival this past weekend, which, by the way, if anyone hasn't been to this event, if you're into 3D printing, this is the event to go to. It was an amazing time. It's located in a small town called Goshen, Indiana, but we had a blast, hung out with a lot of the influencers, the people that sort of built the industry that we have now, which is really cool. But I showed your Palette Plus device on the Robo R2, which I actually have running right now behind me, and people were just like in awe about it. They were loving it. So we had all these little prints. Like, obviously, this is like one of my favorites, little R2. But we were showing all sorts of prints from the palette, and I was printing live, and everyone was just all excited. They were amazed by it. So it's picking up some steam, man. And I'm excited to kind of see it. I reached out to you early. I mean, I saw an article about Mosaic Manufacturing years ago, and I reached out to you, and then we ended up getting on a Skype and started talking about this. Going back to that, how did you even get involved? When was your first exposure to 3D printing?
Yeah, no, we connected at Kickstarter time. So I think 6 or 7 years ago now, I was in engineering, and at that time, printers were still really expensive. There was one on campus, and I got lucky. I was lucky enough to use a 3D printer at my summer job as an engineer, but on campus, students didn't have access to this. So I started a little business, not Mosaic. I bought a couple 3D printers. I started a website, and people could order stuff. And long story short, over a couple years, it grew from a couple students buying little parts to medical companies and automotive companies like General Motors were buying stuff. And that's when I started to realize how powerful desktop printers could be, and naturally fell into this problem that people wanted to print more meaningful stuff, multicolor, multi-material stuff, and that kind of ended up spinning into Mosaic. But that reminds me of when you and I met. We were launching a Kickstarter for Palette, and you and I connected, and you sort of gave us some really good advice back in the day about how to set expectations and figure manufacturing out so that you don't, delay a few years like most Kickstarter campaigns. So.
Oh yeah, I know it very well. I was giving you some of the feedback basically on our experience doing Kickstarter and some of the things we did wrong. Right. Albeit it being a great success for us, and it really kind of kicked off our business. You know, it's a tough platform, and you have a lot of people that are relying on you getting your product out. So, no, I'm super proud of you guys. It's crazy to kind of see you guys come this far. And to like see the device now, and I've been using it a ton. I probably am going to have a hard time just printing normally after using it so much, but it's working out extremely well. So you got, it sounds like you had a similar sort of discovery moment that I did. Mine was, my business partner was building a prosthetic leg, and he was using an industrial 3D printer, and I was like, wow, this technology is amazing. I can see a lot of people using it to bring their ideas to life, and that's how it kind of all started. And how did you specifically start? Did you start looking at the industry and start saying, hey, there's going to be a need in this type of like plastic depositing system for full color or for multicolor, and that's how you started getting into wanting to develop your own device?
Yeah, it feels like forever ago now, but it really all began where I had 4 co-founders at the time. We all knew that we wanted to start a business, not go the traditional route. And my only contribution was really saying, hey, having built a business a couple years before, printing stuff for people, they kept on asking for this, and all I could give them was, the single color version. So I presented that problem to the group, and then we looked at what was going on, over 100 different printer models. Your Kickstarter campaign was out there at the time.
Yeah.
We felt building another printer wasn't going to make that step change given where we wanted to go. Our mission has always been allowing 3D printers to make a more meaningful range of products, right?
Yep.
I'm sure you experienced this. You talk to people and they say, oh, can a printer make clothes? Can a printer make a wallet for me? Can it make things
all the time?
Right?
I get the clothes question actually like all the time.
Right.
That one at trade shows.
Yeah, they come to you. They're like, "Oh, why is it hard plastic?" And so that's where something like this. This is one of my favorite prints. I don't know if I've shown this to you, but using PPE to make something that's actually flexible. This is where we are striving to take.
It actually looks like that looks like a real shoe.
That's a good step, right?
I mean, that's a great step. I think you brought when you came down to San Diego and visited our HQ. I think you brought a similar one, but I haven't seen that specific one. That one looks really good.
Right. So to get back to your question, the goal was always, enabling a more meaningful range of products to be printed. Products, not parts. And so we said, dual extrusion at the time, keep in mind, maybe 1 in 20 people had a printer with a dual extruder, and they just removed it. Because at the time, it was so primitive, the leveling issues, the oozing, it's come so far. You guys have taken it far with the dual use release. But at the time, people were frustrated, and we saw that there needed to be a better way to be able to print with, 4 colors, and then one day 10 colors in different materials.
Yep.
And that's where we came up with, the palette technology, taking in 4 materials, outputting a single material. It's compatible with almost every printer. And I think our favorite thing about it is that you get to use the single extruder that's on the printer, the one that's been refined, the one that is viable. You don't have to add more of them. And you get the same quality the printer can print at, but with different materials. And so as soon as we did testing and development on that for a few months, it was really clear that was going to be the way to go. Definitely not an easy thing to have built on the hardware or the software side, but it's pretty crazy reminiscing, looking at you now, printing with it behind you. It's been a crazy 4 years, but really excited about where the team's taken it.
Yeah, someone gave a little waving emoji to you, so.
Hello, Ramiro.
So for all, you and me, obviously you and I know what the actual palette device is, but for anyone that's going to watch this or watching it now, explain a little bit about how the device actually works.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So what Palette does is it is a print engine that can be used with your printer to sort of turbocharge what your printer can do. So as you know, your printer will pull in a single strand, say, of yellow filament, and it'll print out a yellow part. What Palette will do is it will take in 4 different types of filament. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be black, yellow, brown, clear, or different materials. So water-soluble material, TPU flexible material, and PLA. You'll combine those together into a single strand that comes out this side that then feeds up into the extruder of the printer. So just like you can see behind Braden, with Palette, you're not changing your printer at all. You don't have to take anything apart or add anything. It simply feeds filament into your printer live that your printer then consumes, and it turns your printer from a single color printer into one that can make, really complex. Got to show Drake over here, multicolor.
Yeah. Look at that.
We are in Toronto, so Drake is out there.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's what Palette does. It is able to turn your printer into a 4-material, 4-color printer without making any changes to it.
Yeah, and so this week, I didn't really even tell you about this. I just got really excited after I went to the show, but I decided to write like a blog about it. I did an Instagram story about it, explaining some of the process, how to set it up with the Robo R2. But that process is actually fairly similar, even if you're using a different 3D printer. One of the most difficult things was just figuring out how to calibrate it. But I think I tried to break it down into like the simplest possible way to do it. And for most people that I think have it now or are interested in getting it, they'll have a pretty pretty easy, simplistic kind of process to get that going. Because once you get it calibrated, it's going through the machine and kind of like everything's running smooth. I mean, now you're just taking files and putting them through your software and just starting prints, right, at that point. So I had to learn that process, but now I'm literally getting phenomenal prints. I'm loving it. I'm printing all sorts of stuff out here. I was printing stuff at the show live. I was trying to think some of the prints I actually have. This is the one that everyone liked, by the way, at the show. That's the one that everyone just absolutely loved at the show. Was this cell, and they were just shocked at how good there was no bleed. That's what they liked, is just, from color to color, there was no bleed. So I was explaining the process to them, and it was just incredible. So
awesome.
It really does turbocharge. Someone wrote turbocharge ? It really does turbocharge your printer. It allows it to go from like this single extrusion, single color 3D printer, which, is great for a lot of people, or they print multiple pieces in different colors, to being able to do it all at once, which is pretty incredible. So I'm always a fan of things that take 3D printing to the next level, because we all benefit as users, right?
Yeah, no, to your point about, people looking at parts, we love going to maker fairs and trade shows as well, because we're talking to people, that are using printers all the time. When they look at a part, you're used to now seeing, oozing and color bleeding and all those things from systems they've seen in the past, or painting. But you love that thrill of people looking at it and they're like, wait, how? Oh, and they have that aha moment of how it actually works. So
yeah. Jerry said that looks like a deviled egg. I actually did have one person that said they thought it was a breakfast.
Fair enough. It's really bright, but it's actually an educational model that shows the Earth and sort of shows the core on the inside.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, there's so many uses, and I know you guys, we'll talk about this in a minute, but I know you guys are working on some stuff to make it even easier to actually use it. And because the other difficult part is you guys have some amazing content. If you guys go over, anyone that's watching this goes over to Mosaic Manufacturing's Thingiverse page, we have like 115 designs on there that are all multicolor, and they go through the process on their YouTube page on how to slice and things like that through Simplify or Cura. But if you want to do it yourself with a normal STL, you have to go into Mesh Mixer, and you have to designate different parts as different models, and so it's a bit of a process, but it's something you guys are working on, correct?
Definitely.
Perfect that a little bit,
A bit of a process is a nice way to capture it. But yeah, it's okay. So the way I like to think about this is, we really focused on letting people print in color and with different materials, and we focus so much on what's behind you. But listening to what a lot of people are doing, they're saying, it's great that I can now print, but what am I going to print? And so you mentioned on Thingiverse the collection. We love creating good content. We have a really talented designer, Javin, on our team. He's constantly pumping stuff out to let people print more. But we know that at the core of 3D printing it's not printing necessarily what other people have designed. It's the ability for you to actually be part of creating that content. And the truth is, the way that people design today, CAD is a very powerful tool, but CAD isn't for everyone. And even with CAD, even the Tinkercad, SolidWorks, designing for multicolor is really, really challenging. So what we're developing is, at a technology level, a new standard to define color in a model. And what that means to the user is, for the first time, the ability to actually take something and on your computer screen color it. So whether it's paint by numbers or with a paintbrush, you can actually add color. And what that means is that, on Thingiverse now, there's hundreds of thousands of models that are single color. With our software that's coming out called Canvas, you can take those models, add color to them, and then print them, meaning that you don't just have 200 or 300 models that are online now that are good color models. You all of a sudden have the potential to make thousands and to customize themselves, which is, we've been trying to go there for a long time, but
it's game changing, man. That's what we need in the industry. We need some people that are doing some cool. I mean, like, we've been focused on hardware, right? Making machines that work and work well, and people have success with them. But like, that next step is really working with companies such as yourself that are working on like introducing new technologies that makes things easier and expand the uses of the actual machines. And it's amazing, dude. I'm really stoked for you guys. You guys are doing some cool stuff. Mitch, you still there? I got Mitch frozen over here. He might have to reset his screen here. to actually get back into the live. Mitch, if you can hear me, reset your screen, connect your camera again, get back into the live, and we'll hopefully get him here. But I want to show you guys while I have you here, he's coming back on the live, is some of the prints that, Mitch, can you hear me still?
Yeah, I'm back.
He's back. So this is one of the prints that people like too at the show. People are loving it. I mean, there's lots of cool prints here. This rubber print, people were stoked on, right? Being able to do multicolor. But what I was saying, I don't know if you caught all of it, is that, like the industry needs some advancements like this to keep it interesting, keep it exciting. And I think when you guys take Canvas to that level where I can pull an STL model into Canvas and I can start coloring it without, trying to cut the model up into multiple models and bringing them together and make that process really simple. And then I go over to the palette device and it tells me what color to put, like what color material to put into which nozzle, and does all the magic for you at that point. And that process, I mean, that's going to be much more digestible by people, and the ability to mass adopt that if you're a 3D printer user is going to be like almost automatic.
Yeah, that's it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly where we're trying to go with this. I think, like you said before, there's mesh mixer and slicers and processors and finding content that isn't ready. For a lot of people, printing in color is maybe 10% of their customers do that kind of thing. But us, 100% of our customers are doing this. So we're listening to what they're asking for. They want a workflow that was actually built for them, not taking a part of, another slicer and a little part of this. So on top of the ability to customize, which I think is going to be really important to give people more to print, something Canvas is going to do is it's actually going to make printing faster and save material, because we're doing things in a way that saves, it saves the number of transitions that you need to do, saves the number of color changes you need to do. The size of a purge tower that you need usually can be shrunk with Canvas because it's all together.
Yeah, that was something that we got into a lot of debates about at the Midwest Rep Festival, as people were saying, all the purge block, it's a lot of waste. And I said, trust me, these guys are all over it. I mean, Mosaic Manufacturing is all over this issue. They're going to try and solve it. They're working on, finding out unique ways to use that purge block, within the part and things like that. So you don't waste a lot of the material. It's actually being used in the end part, which is really cool. So they were like jazzed when I started talking about that. They were like, that's incredible. This is going to be awesome. So I think lots of positive momentum moving in your direction.
That's awesome. For anyone who doesn't know what the purge block is, basically, with a dual extruder, you usually have a little block on the side that the nozzle will purge on. With what's happening behind Braden, with a single nozzle, when you change from green to yellow, for example, like in this part, in the layer, there's going to be this mix between green and yellow, which we don't want on the part because we want the color to be really crisp. So what our software will do is it'll tell the nozzle to go to the side and get rid of that material in a purge block that you'll then throw out or recycle after, and then it'll come over to the print. One example of something we're doing is in the software, letting the printer deposit that material inside the part in infill so that you don't have as much or any waste. And that's one example of something that hasn't been done before at a slicer level in a simple way, and it's kind of just going to be baked right into Canvas, and we're excited about that because, like you said, it's people don't love the idea of adding time to your print or wasting more material.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really cool, man. I'm like super excited for you guys. I don't want to take up too much time, but we usually like to keep these around 15, 20 minutes, so we're kind of at that mark, but I'm really excited. What besides, like, I know you guys are working on a lot of stuff. Is there anything that you can talk about that you haven't talked about? Is there what's next for Mosaic? I mean, it sounds like you guys are already working on new devices and new software and things like that, but is there anything that you specifically want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I think Canvas is certainly the biggest one, and as soon as that's out, we're going to push that to you guys. We want to get as many people using it and collaborating and making it better. But on a product side, can't say too much yet. All I can say is that we really never stopped with Palette. We came out with Palette Plus, and we're really proud and excited about the experience that our customers are having. But we're of course not stopping there. We're going to push for the next generation, integrating everything our customers are asking for. Kind of think about that jump from the R1 to the R2. We're working on making that from Palette Plus to the next product as well. And maybe this year we'll be sure to show you exactly what that is. We're really, really excited about it.
Yeah, someone Carrie wrote here, like, excited to hear about Canvas. I was intimidated about coloring projects, but now it seems like it's something achievable. I think that you guys, when you came down to San Diego a couple weeks ago, we talked a little bit about, and you showed us some screenshots and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is making it a lot easier to color. And I think that step is going to that's a leap for 3D printer users, not just a step. So I think it's going to make it a ton more accessible for everyone. And it should make just adoption of getting your product and using it that much easier. So I know people are really excited. I mean, you guys have already developed a huge name for yourself in the industry. It seemed like everyone that walked around, they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of the palette, or yeah, I have one. I had a lot of people that actually had one already talk to me. So it was really cool. Yeah. And like I said, I've been using it a ton back here. If you guys go to our website, you'll see a blog we just did on how to set it up to the Robo R2. Showed some videos from Mosaic, how to do the mesh mixer stuff we put on there, and then some time lapses you guys did with some of our products. So it's really cool. Go check it out. Any shout outs you want to give before we hop off?
I can never do one of these things without shouting out. I'm one person. I'm one cog in the Mosaic ship, and I could not be prouder of the team we've assembled up here in Toronto, and our extended team. And
you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy past couple of years, and our customer base. To Carrie's comment, I think generally printing it can be intimidating to some people, and then when you start thinking about multicolor, multi-material, adding something like palette to your printer, it's different. If you bought a printer kit and then you go up to buying an R2 or something like that, it's a leap, but it's a similar thing. It's a printer. One thing we recognize is that using something like palette and getting into the space of color, it's new and it's different. So one team specifically at Mosaic that we've really had, I think, done an excellent job at is our support. And one thing I want to say is that if you're looking to get into multicolor, multi-material, we are going to take the burden on. We think it's our job to teach you and to help you. So we are there 100% of the way. And even Braden, your stories down Instagram was amazing. Just walking through. So thanks for creating that content, because I think that's the burden that we should take on to help people get into this and help them make more meaningful content in their printer. It's not going to happen overnight, but we're on the right path and excited to work with you guys. And thanks for
most definitely. Yeah, and I vouch for that. You guys have, Brennan's, all those guys that are there, you guys have a great team. You guys are doing incredible stuff. Anytime we kind of talk to you about an idea or something, within a couple days, we already have all you guys come back to us with all this stuff. So you guys are always on top of it, and your support's always great. And our customers have mentioned it to us that they reached out and got a hold of your support. So keep up the great work. I'm excited for Canvas. I know all our users that use the palette are excited for Canvas. You can pick up the palette device on their website. You can pick it up on our website. Like I said, I have the integration. If you have the Robo R2, it'll work the same for the Robo C2 that's set up. It'll be obviously a little bit different in terms of your calibration values, but that's going to be different anyways. But follow all those steps and get it set up and running, and you'll have a lot of fun. So thanks, Mitch. I will talk to you soon. We'll obviously follow your journey, and we'll promote you guys any way we can. So keep it up.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Okay.